Hi Freddie, my name is Jackie and I'm one of the librarians here at Walla Walla Community College. I heard you were struggling on finding resources that really matched your research question. I heard you might also be coming by the library tomorrow, and if you do, you've probably seen me. My office is just in the row of offices. Just come on in, I'll be here, so don't be shy. But in the meantime, if you're working from home, I wanted to point out two of our other resources that might be helpful for you. They're pretty easy to use, and I think they weren't covered in other sessions you may have had. So you'll go to the same place. You'll start from the library homepage, and you will scroll down, and like you've probably done before, you're going to click on e-resources. We're going to choose two different databases. I'm sure you have used both of these, and they're fine. You should something might come up in there, and we can talk about that tomorrow. But I'm going to point out two other ones. We are going to start with CQ Researcher, and then I'll show you another one. What comes up is it's going to ask for your login. So that's your number, your 814 number. Mine's already in there, so we'll log in. And CQ Research is pretty cool. It looks for things on that large topic level. So with your topic of immigration, you can do a couple things. You can look up immigration, if you want to look up things like refugee crisis, migrants, sanctuary cities, those kind of big terms that might come up. But you can start simple, start with just immigration if you'd like. And these come up in order of, I guess, what's considered relevance. And by relevance, that's just how many times the term comes up. And you can see this is on immigration conflict in particular. It came out in 2012. It's a little bit older, but it might be useful. And actually, this is kind of interesting. It's in this topic of outsourcing and immigration. Outsourcing often means concern about jobs, so that might be interesting. To just go ahead and take a look at this, I'll click here. And we can scroll down and see, it's looking at immigration conflict in particular, and then there's asking the specific question, should states crack down on unlawful aliens? So that's kind of the question that's kind of overarching this topic. What's also helpful is that there's some other topics that come up over here, so going all the way back pretty far in time to the 90s, but you can look at other similar topics that might be helpful. So what's helpful is that these reports give a great introduction to a topic. In fact, I'll just point it out for you. There's an introduction to the topic. There's an overview. It gives you some background to what's going on. There's a really great pro-con section. We'll just jump there. The pro-con is, this is asking about the DREAM Act. So, this is a few years old, and they were looking at, like someone gave this pro, yes they should, this person did not. And these tend to be from pretty qualified individuals. You can see this person's a senior researcher with the Immigration Policy Center. This person is from the Center for Immigration Studies. So folks who should have some significant knowledge of what they're talking about. Some other great features here is you can look and get a chronology. Some people really like that type of overview as well, so you can go ahead and just get an idea of the history of the issue. And there's also finally a really great bibliography. I find the bibliography extremely helpful because they often link out to specific things. So this will link to some articles, and this one looks like it came from a radio report. This is from a publication called Washington Lawyer. The title, Immigration Reform, is it feasible? So that might be really interesting to look at their discussion about what are some reform solutions, if that's your question. And then the rest are direct links. So it's a pretty useful tool. It, like many of our databases, has other features, like you can email this to yourself. They'll help you cite it. So I'm not sure which citation you're using for your class. I'm imagining you're using MLA. Double check with your instructor. But they have a sample of what that would look like. You'll still have to tweak it a little bit. It's just a guide. It's not the answer, but it'll give you an idea of what that looks like. So really quickly, that's one database. Going back to our library homepage, so yep, we're just here. Scroll down. We just looked at CQ Researcher. This one can be helpful as well. This is Points of View Reference Center. And Points of View Reference Center, that's what they talk about. They talk about big topics. So they have just things that are going on in the news right now. That's just one way to use it. You can just click through. You can come down and look at categories. I'm not sure if immigration actually has its own category, which is kind of interesting. And you can look at any of these, or you can and take a look, or you can just go up and also just do a basic search up here if you want to look at specifically at immigration and something about immigration. I don't know if you want to look at, I don't know, immigration and education, immigration and you know, welfare, immigration and education. You could do that. So a couple different ways to use this database. What comes up is the focus of this database, which is all these different points of view, which can sometimes be really helpful if you are writing an argumentative paper and you are looking for points of view different than your own. This can help you look and see that analysis from a different point of view. So there's again a point and then usually a counterpoint. So you know, and then there'll be different overviews as well. So someone here in their counterpoint is arguing that family-based immigration to the United States is problematic. That's their counterpoint. This point up here is saying, well, family-based immigration benefits the United States and should be preserved. Great, so you might want to look at both of those if that was your topic, you know, for example. So you just click there and you can get a little quick snapshot overview of the topic. And what's over here on the right is actually a wonderful way to look at this. So here's an overview of the topic if you wanted to get more. There's that counterpoint, and there's a critical analysis of that topic. You could just click on any of these, and sorry, it's coming up over here. You can get more of that background information and such. You know, if you wanted to look directly at that critical analysis. Sorry, the screen recorder's not being handy, but it's there. The same thing, it will come up on another part of your screen. So anyway, so that can be extremely helpful way to look at this. And you can either go back and change your search if you need. Right now this is bringing up points of view. You can also, if you wanted to look up magazines at the same time, for example, you could certainly do that on newspapers. The other thing that you can do is you might want to pick a time period. And this goes all the way back to 1900. So unless you're looking at a particular wave of immigration, that can be really interesting. If you want to look at immigration waves in the 1920s, that would be great. You could narrow down to just that. But I have a feeling you're probably looking at more recent issues, so you might want to come up to the last, you know, I don't know, 3 or 4 years, maybe even looking at when the DREAM Act came out. And you can look at those topics. So we've looked at date. We can go back. It kicked everything out and just look at points of view again, so you would have to re-click on magazines to get there. But more immigration, less teen employment. That's really interesting, right? You know, one thing I didn't show you is, and you've probably seen this, this is an EBSCO database, so it probably looks like an interface you've seen. If we scroll over to the right, similar features, you can email to yourself. There's that citing tool to help you with this. Again, just scroll down, find MLA, and that sort of thing. So anyway, I hope that's helpful. I hope to see you tomorrow if you come in and we can talk more about your topic, because I'm hoping we should be able to find some things for you. So we'll just have to maybe dig in and discuss it a little bit more. All right, take care.